Hello everyone who's sitting on a brain and doesn't even know it. I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths. If I fade out of existence during this video, it is because I'm slightly ill, so don't mind me, mind Rambot, who is currently sitting on the mainframe. How can I show you the mainframe? There we go. Can we see the brain? This is the first and most important thing to see in the game. Damn it. Show me your brain. I'm too close, man. I'm too close. Damn it. Okay, that does it. That does it. This wasn't the thing that, camera speed. Very slow. There we go. This is the secret that Nick Smart doesn't want you to know. Just kidding. He's the one who put them in here. Anyway, so the AI compartment. I didn't even introduce what this... You've clicked on this already. This is the build menu walkthrough. This is what we're doing today. I'm going to turn this back up to 2, because otherwise I will go absolutely cuckoo crazy. Right, so the AI section. Right after the control section. And no, we're not talking about AI like ChatGPT. We're talking about something just as stupid, but kind of useful. Let's just walk through this. So, to start off with, like, usually I like to go just in order across the lines here, but really, the thing marked in yellow is probably the most important thing. The AI mainframe. The core of every AI system. These always point in the forward direction of the vehicle. Do they? Do they really? I think you're lying to me. Maybe they used to. Anyway, Rambot, you are no longer needed. Bye! Aww, he's giving the brain a hug. That's very sweet. Anyway, the AI mainframe is where you do all the AI stuff, which is like, there's way too much stuff just to cover in this brief overview video, but nonetheless, if you've been playing From the Depths for a while, you've run into this kind of thing before. There's behaviors, which is just the combat behavior of the thing, or not combat behavior in the case of resource gathering. There's adjustments, which are just basically is adjusting how the thing moves. This is pretty important to set correctly, otherwise your vehicle might pathfind weird. Maneuver, what kind of maneuver you can use here. So really the only thing that can get this fortress moving is the fortress maneuver, and does nothing useful if you're using an AI bred for controls. I kind of forgot that was there. 6-axis, useless, never use that. Hover movement is much better. Ship or tank, good. Airplane 2.0, pretty good. And vehicle 2, good. Right. All that kind of stuff, very nice. Additional is just additional routines, sailing, projectile avoidance, sailing 2.0, and water start. I literally never use any of these. I'm not sure anyone does anymore. These are kind of legacy behaviors, PIDs. These are the inbuilt PID controllers of the AI. By default, you really don't need to mess with this, but personally, if you want an airship to bounce up and down, what you do is in the hover control you can turn the gain way up so it actually bounces up and down. We don't actually want that with our fortress, so we're just going to set it back to the default, whatever the default is. What is the default? The default is that. Let's set it back to the default, which is this. Okay, doing good. Alright, breadboards. Holy crap, we'll get to that, no worries. Yep, the oldest is back. Right, and here's where you can name your mainframe. So I'm going to call this Steve the not GPT, and then you can see in the actual C AI menu right there, the name pops up right there. We can even click on it, and then you can mess around with automatic propulsion and control surface configuration. I've never really touched this actually. Not sure how it works. Maybe it works, or maybe it works good. Anyway, so that's the AI mainframe in a nutshell. Rambot, are you just gonna hang out around there? That's weird. Anyway, now let's go over the other things, like the wireless transmitter. So, wireless connections are something you're going to be using a lot in From the Depths vehicles, because otherwise you have to put connectors all over the place in order to connect to your stuff. And that's not good. So what instead we can do is we can have a wireless transmitter set to a channel, and we can have a wireless receiver set to receive on the same channel. And you can change the channel. You can see there's an error there saying 2 transmitters on channel 1. That is because this fortress already has an AI down here, along with many other things suitable for test fortressing. So, we can change this to a different channel, and so we can watch a different soap opera, and it's very nice. So now, this is connected to this, and it's very nice, and we don't need to plonk a whole bunch of physical connectors, which, like, there's nothing much to say about this. They just connect. They just connect all this other stuff to your AI mainframe. Right, and moving on from there, general purpose processing. So, this relates to detection, which is over here, and there's a whole blinky guide right here and here. Just, it is helpful if you're starting out. Do click on these things. It can teach you things without a friggin' YouTuber explaining things to you. Those damn YouTubers, they get things wrong all the time, and they get things right, and you'll only know which is which by asking in the official From the Depths Discord, at least according to some people. Right, so GPP is what you need to effectively power detection, so you can see the wireless snooper over here. We'll get to this in a hot second. It requires 3 units of general purpose processing power. Each general purpose processing card gives 1, so you need 3 of these to have 1 of these function. I did say we'd get to them later, but like you can see now, total processing power is 5, detection GPPP is needed is 3. That's because the mainframe comes with 2 general purpose processing power. It doesn't actually say that on the tooltip, annoyingly enough. Then we get to local weapon controls. This is needed to aim weapons automatically. There's 2 of them. One is the standard one, which looks like this, and it requires not only a wireless receiver in order to connect to the AI, but it also requires this, the failsafe. I barely ever use these anymore, simply because it's a new and upgraded version, which is approximately 3 times more expensive, is the all-in-one local weapon controller, in which the receiver and the failsafe is built in. So I don't really use these anymore. There's really no reason to use the not all-in-one local weapon controller over the all-in-one, aside from cost. So 15 for the receiver, 15 for the failsafe, that's 30. So the total cost of a setup local weapon controller is around 60 materials. And all-in-one is 100, so it's only like 40 materials more, which is a lot, but it takes up less space, it's fewer blocks, it's just very, very nice. So there are reasons to use this, but I personally don't usually use them at all. I mean this. I got them confused because they look exactly the same. Gah! So yeah, the failsafe literally just essentially casts a ray from any weapon that this local weapon controller is controlling and make sure it doesn't shoot itself. These things are not, ironically, they are not failsafe. So, if for instance, you have, let's go find a nice turret somewhere. Let's find Bertha. Bertha's fun. So, if I'm not mistaken, here we have an all-in-one local weapon controller, and the failsafe that's built into the all-in-one works the same way as the actual block failsafe. It has options here, detects the range, detects other owned on-codes, which is very handy. It's not foolproof, it can't calculate absolutely everything, so you're gonna need to use firing restrictions in order to make sure the weapon, like, never actually tries to aim through your own craft, for instance. So, just a little note there, like, failsafes are not 100% foolproof. You do need them, but they're not 100% reliable. Alright, so moving right along, what else can we talk about? Let's talk about the breadboard. This thing is, this is the AI breadboard. I actually ran into a bug not too long ago in which, like, all the saved information in one of my breadboards was wiped, so be aware, as of time of recording, or by the time, hopefully not by the time you're seeing this, there is a problem here. So the breadboard, there's way too much stuff, again, to cover in one video. I'm not sure I'm ever going to manage to do a all-in-one everything in the breadboard video, because that would probably be 12 hours long. But yeah, so there's all kinds of funky things you can do in here that the standard AI on its own cannot do. For instance, what can we do here? What's a fun thing we can do? Let's do a timer. And set it to... Yep, let's set a timer and timer reset time. Let's set it to 180. And let's have over here a spin block. Yes, I am skipping ahead a little bit. Let's have a spin block with some kind of canoe shape on it, because we have to be on brand a little bit. There we go, there's our canoe. And we need to make this canoe spin, right? So we're going to set this to continuous. No, let's we'll have it rotate to angle. We'll have it go there. And then we're going to have the generic block setter, which is over here. We're going to set it to spin block, and we're going to set it to angle control. And this thing is now very slowly changing its angle. Very, very slowly. So yeah, that's an example of a thing we can do. We could also change this to be like... Let's set that to a constant. Actually, no. Let's do the same thing again, because this is I'm having fun here. All right. Let's set this to timer reset time is 30, and we're going to set to where it's rate control power scale. There's a lot of things here. Determine rotation angle. Rotate. Nope, that's not what we wanted. I am wasting so much time here. Just full scale, tertiary scale. Where's the spinny? Where's the spinny? There's so many. Rate control to variable number. That's probably what we want. And we're gonna go here and continuous. So basically, this thing is just going to speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up until it gets to about 30, and then it will stop spinning and reset again. And we did that with a breadboard. Couldn't do that with the regular AI. That's just one of approximately a billion things you can do with the breadboard, which we're not going to go into too much detail. I've already gone into too much detail. Should get to 30, and then it's back to there, and it will start spinning up again. We're just going to leave that spinning right now because that's funny. Alright, inter-vehicle transmitter. So, hard to demonstrate this without more than one vehicle, but this little guy, all it does is... it basically allows the transmitting of detection information from the connected mainframe to mainframes on other vehicles. This is basically bog standard with any kind of vehicle that has, like, you know, trackers on them, because it allows a fleet of vehicles to all share information on range, bearing, and speed of an enemy target, which allows them to shoot more accurately at it, which is very nice. So, bog standard on anything with aimed weapons. AI card slots. So if we got this thing over here, this is where you stick your cards. That's basically it. What are the cards? I'm glad you asked. Here they are. So what we've got here is behaviors and additional routines. What that allows is for you to stick more behaviors on your craft. Perhaps you want your craft to automatically switch between different behaviors depending on what the enemy craft is like, which, again, that's something you can do with breadboard, but also with ACBs, which we covered in the last episode of this, over here. So maybe, I don't know, so we got two behaviors over here. Maybe we want to do two different broadsides, or two different, let's do, say, broadside, let's do a broadside, let's do a circle, so combat distance of blah blah blah. And maybe say, pretend we've done all the shenaniganery in the breadboard and stuff like that, and this is our close range circle against stuff that is our size or smaller. And then maybe we want a different one, and this one is a longer ranged one. Maybe like this, against stuff that's bigger and scarier than us, and you want to keep your distance a little bit so it doesn't hit you as reliably, for instance. This isn't just a random example. I've found considerable success in just having... having multiple behaviors on a craft and having it switch between them depending on what it's shooting at. And it works incredibly well. It especially works well when you've got tiny little things which are hard to hit from a distance and you just get in close, and then you've got big scary things and you can dodge things. Like, I should probably spawn in what I'm talking about, just for giggles. This was on the front page of the workshop for apparently absolutely no reason. Where are you? There it is. Hailstorm Gremlin. I forget how it does this. Point at large, point at small. I'm scared. I don't want to... Please don't do what I think you're gonna do. I think it just erased all the bloody breadboard on this. I think it just did that. Did it really? If it did, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry big blue tears. Aha! Nope, it uses ACBs. Ha 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 ha! That's two words. Anyway, Hellstorm Gremlin, buy it at your local Walmart. It is not that expensive. Anyway, what were we talking about? Alright, so that is the behavior card. But then you have the thing that you're probably going to be using a lot more often, which is the aim point and the target prioritization. So, first things first, if you're using any kind of weapon that aims, so basically anything that isn't a self-guided missile, you do want target prio. And this means that it basically reads the statistics of whatever enemy vehicles it can see, and then like chooses its target based on that. So let me give you an example here. So we're going to spawn in. We're just going to set... There's so many things here. My default is literally this. Shoot at what's close. So priority added for every meter of range. It means that the closer it is, if you set this to -1, it'll shoot at what's closest. That is the most basic default thing. However, if your big scary main guns, whether they're advanced cannons or crams or plasma or whatnot, you probably want to shoot at the thing that's bigger or has a lot of propulsion or which has a lot of firepower or something like that. So yeah, like this is where you want to have multiple different AIs with different target prioritization in order to ensure that they're all shooting at the thing that like they're good at shooting at, and also so that that you can deal with like little annoying planes or like kamikaze drones or something like that, like, and your main guns don't get distracted. Classic new player mistake is to have just one AI and one target prio, because that's, well, bad. So let me show you how this works in here. So let's just set that to... Let's just set it to value per block, and then we're going to go over here. Hey, Spidey thing, how you doing? We're going to... what is that? We're going to spawn in a small thing and a big thing. We're going to spawn in a rat and a pariah. So way over there, we're going to pause here, and we're going to look at the target prio, and you can see value per block, and now the pariah is it has the much higher priority because it is a much bigger vehicle. If you set this to negative, you'd get the other. You'd get a negative number for these two, and then the rat would be the highest priority. So we're going to set that to that. And then we're going to set that to like so. And now the pariah is like really highest priority because it's big and it's closing in much faster than the rat is. So, and then you can do all kinds of things. You can upgrade the firepower. And again, pariah, really highest priority because it's got a lot more guns than the rat does. And etc, etc, etc. So, target prio, quite important to get that set up correctly. Whether you're doing campaign or adventure mode, because otherwise your thing will be shooting at the wrong thing, and that's bad. Speaking of shooting, the aim point selection card. Again, if you're using anything other than like missiles which are fire and forget, you're gonna need one of these, and you can customize this, well, to a limited but helpful degree. So first things first, what is your weapon doing? Do you want to target blocks above water, below, or doesn't it matter? Generally speaking, most weapons, unless it is like a particle cannon or a supercavitation APS, and sometimes not even then, you want to target things above the waterline. So it's like, because water functions a lot like, well, it's a very effective barrier against most things. So just quickly running through them. Simple weapons, most of these are really bad at dealing with things in water. They can't really shoot through it. Submersible nuke craft notwithstanding. Crank cannons suck at shooting through water. Advanced cannons, by default, if you do not have a super cavitation base on them, they suck at shooting through water. Although, if their shell velocity is high enough, they can hit things underwater fairly easily. So, yeah, that's something to worry about. Missiles, well... standard missiles can't even aim at things below the water if they're using a radar-guided or infrared sensor. Acoustic torpedoes, of course, they can hit things below the water. Lasers suck at shooting through water. Particle cannons, great at shooting through water. Plasma cannons suck at shooting through water unless they're shooting straight down at something, for instance, and have very high muzzle velocity. Flamethrowers cannot hit things below the water at all. So, if, for instance, you have a flamethrower, and you definitely want to tech this block right here, otherwise your flamethrower is going to do absolutely nothing, and that's embarrassing. Right, and then max time before change targeted blocks. Depending on how fast your weapon fires, and how fast its projectiles are, you're going to want to mess with this a lot. If you have, say, a cram cannon, so let's go find Bertha again. So, Bertha here does not fire very quickly. It's got a reload time about just under 18 seconds. So if it's, say, aiming for a single block and focusing on it for like 60 seconds, if that block is like, oh, I don't know, say, on a spin block, and it's spinning constantly in a circle and absolutely, completely throwing off the target protection of the AI, you do not want your slow-firing weapons shooting at that for like 60 seconds. So to increase the likelihood of a slow-firing weapon hitting a block that it can actually hit at all, you will want to set this to about 1 second. And there's another feature here that we're going to talk about. And you also probably wanted to set to aim it for clusters, because random blocks is, if we shrink this here, you'll see that there are big blocks and there's small blocks. Random blocks is basically any of these, but the block cluster aim point is aiming for basically focusing on clusters of blocks which are close together. Like, for instance, this AI compartment, which is a much better target than, say, this patch of deck over on the edge here. So, almost always you want to aim for clusters of blocks with your craft. I can't really think of a reason you'd go for random blocks, unless you're in a tournament which allows deliberate block clustering. Let's try that again. Unless you're in a tournament which does not expressly forbid deliberate block clustering, you pretty much always want that feature. Targeting hot blocks is exactly what it sounds. Certain blocks have heat. In fact, if you middle-click, go to detection, and you look there at the infrared detection, you'll see way too much text. Every single block that can generate heat in from the depths has a temperature. As you can see there, there's a whole bunch of small steam turbines in this fortress that are generating a teeny tiny amount of heat. But it's all adding together, you see. So, aiming for hot blocks means that anything that is focusing on hot blocks aimed at this fortress will probably go for the steam turbines first. Bearing in mind, there is a block which we'll discuss way in the future, probably, assuming I don't drop dead, heat decoys. This thing, if you've got your AI targeting hot blocks, it will almost certainly go for these first, or at least get distracted by them a lot, so do bear in mind, aiming for hot blocks is not an automatic I win button. And in fact, if it's targeting hot blocks, it's best to use hit scan weapons for that, just in case, oh, I don't know, someone like me does something cheeky, apologies, and sticks like a spinny decoy on a spinny spin block, you know. How many times can I say spinny, 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 spinny? Okay, then that's the aim point selection block. I'm gonna need a nap after this video, I swear. Alright, and plug-and-play cards. This is something I never really do. So these are all, if you go into the AI, there's all kinds of behaviors and stuff that you can do. But there's also a bunch of just pre-made ones. So if you go here, point animated, this is provided by simple AI card. What is this? Left click to... I don't think... I'm not sure anyone really uses these anymore. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I do. But this is basically just, the AI behaviors you get in here. But just in a block form, I guess. And, like, pre-optimized to a kind of general-purpose setting. So, what have we got here? Frontal hovercraft, circling airplane, circling ship, circling tank, bomber on hovercraft AI, bomber on airplane AI. For the new players, I'd suggest you can use these if you just want to get stuck in. I would recommend just like diving into the behaviors and messing around with them, because the sooner you get the hang of them, the easier they will be, and that's my take on it. You feel free to ignore me. I'm just on the internet. Alright then, let's talk about the enemy simulator. So the enemy simulator changes the team of the AI mainframe it is connected to an enemy team. The effect lasts until either the AI mainframe or the enemy simulator block is destroyed, at which point it reverts to the friendly team. A time limit can also be tested. The enemy simulator is useful for creating weapons test runs. When this block is present, the AI will not scuttle its raw resources upon being captured and changing team. Right, so, I've literally never used this. I'm pretty sure it's not that helpful, but we can try it. So let's, what do we do here? Let's load in a new blueprint. Oh, I love this menu, it's so nice. So if we go here, and we stick an AI here, and we stick an enemy simulator here, and if we activate, yep. And it has a duration. Here's the thing about the enemy simulation thingy-bobby, what's it? There's a spawn menu. If you're in the designer, you literally have access to any kind of faction vehicle. You can spawn it in whenever the hell you want. So, I'm not sure there's a lot of point to have an enemy simulator, unless you're, like, wanting to test armor schemes or something like that. I have seen... Who have I seen? I've seen some people use the enemy simulator block like that, but like, oh, and we just deleted it because, hee. Can I go back over here, please? Great, I broke the camera. I broke the friggin' camera again. Hello? Great. I love breaking the camera. I might need to restart the whole designer because this is, not good. Right. I've gotten distracted. Alright, so that's there. There's a whole bunch of prefabs, which we don't need to go into. Let's talk about the strategic antenna. So, this doesn't, you know what would be really good? Hopping into a campaign save to just show you that. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hop into the main menu. Single player, load campaign. Conquer Nita Tutorial 2. Let's load that. Let's load that and slow down time a lot. So this is a saved game that I did a long time ago. What do we got here? I've got some Hailstorm Gremlins over there, and I've got my tool! Let's talk about the tool. So, over here on the tool, what we've got is the strategic antenna. So, we've got the strategic antenna, and we've got the dish piece. Strategic antenna is essentially the mainframe of your of the whole array, and the dish piece provides signal to the antenna command. Apply these to the antenna to see through the fog of war. What the hell do we mean by fog of war? We mean this. So if we take our tools, which is a hilarious name, and I'm hilarious for saying it, you'll see that as they drop in altitude, come on. You'll see that this shrinks. The higher up the strategic antenna is, the further it can see into the fog of war. And the higher up it is, and the tools can go really damn high, the further you can see. So spy satellites and spy planes are very much a thing from the depths. And it's just very handy to have like have a spy plane with a nice big strategic antenna on it, and it can go zappy zap zap. Very nice indeed. I don't remember how I survived this back in the gay. Back in the gay, when I was young and gay, I survived the gay by being as gay as I possibly could, and they never knew. What was I talking about? I don't know. Right, let's move on to other things. Enough of this silliness. Right, so now we need to talk about detection. There's a lot of detection pieces, but, in summary... oh, I forgot about this. Alright, so, what are we talking about? So, you've got the wireless snooper, which is basically just snooping on any wireless signals that the enemy player has. So, by the way, if you want to make your craft more stealthy, because wireless snoopers are actually weirdly good at detecting stuff, avoid using these as much as possible. It is entirely possible to have a submarine which is very hard to hit and very hard to see just by not using wireless receivers. It is a little bit funky, the Tetris, and it probably shouldn't make it too large, but it can be done. Anyway, so you've got the wireless snooper, which, if you look at the stats here, it has error in bearing and range. What does that mean? It means that when you go here, you'll see this. If you hit Q on any detector, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff. You got speed, you got bearing, you got range. Speed averaging time is the average speed of the target. Bearing, obviously, is the average bearing, and range is the average range. All this is smushed together in a whole bunch of big numbers in order to aim your AI's weapons. So, for instance, if we have the rat, and if we go here, you'll see that the graph is doing things. And currently, our AI is can barely see the rat at all because it's so small, which is a bit of a problem. But if we do something a lot bigger, let's spawn in the Paraiba again. So now if you go here, let's see, we can actually see the mainframe index. So now 8 of them can see this thing, and there's all kinds of... I don't know what this graph bloody means, I just hope for the best. So yeah, you can mess with these a lot, and depending on what you're going with... There's basically 2 settings to think of. 3. This is the standard thing, it works well for most things. If you've got a hit-scan weapon like a laser, you want to do something like this, so it doesn't try and lead the target too much. And if you've got something that has a slow muzzle velocity, like a very chemical-heavy APS shell... Excuse you, that's so rude. Quiet. Quiet on the dance floor. And if you've got something that's like a cram cannon or a big chunky APS... What did I just say? Quiet. You want to set it to... So that's the default. You want it to set it something to more like this, maybe, or maybe even something like this, depending on how exactly your craft is moving. Suffice to say, is like, detection is one of those things that like people just kind of fumble their way through it. Have lots of trackers and you'll probably be fine. Speaking of trackers, there's the actual detectors and then there's trackers. So there's 360 detectors, so you see here there's 360 camera, 360 IR, 360 sonar, 360 radar, all neatly arranged like this. And then you've got the 90-degree ones, which have slightly better detection stats. So you see the 360 camera. It has a bearing error of 0.3 degrees. The 90-degree camera is 0.2 degrees. And bear in mind that the AI will take the average of all your detection information. So the idea is that what you want is a few 360 detectors, then you have slightly more 90-degree detectors if you can bother, and then you have a bunch of trackers. So, and there's another split in the categories. You've got cameras, IR, sonar, and radar, and the laser rangefinder detector, which is technically a camera. So cameras are good at bearing. IR infrared cameras have a lot of detection information, so let's see here, 20 times per second compared to 30 times per second for the IR. Sonar and radar are basically very similar, just one is above water and the other one isn't, and they are good at, I think they're good at range, right? Let's see. Range error is 12.5, range error is 0.75, so that's much better. So you do want a mixture of detection. You can just get away. I have gotten away with before literally having rangefinders with a 360 camera, and that's done the trick, fair enough. It's not great, so wouldn't recommend that. You'd want to stick something else on here as well. So bearing rangefinders, of course, they are the best at detecting bearing. They're also big and fat, so you need to hide them well. And that reminds me, cameras can see through transparent blocks, so let's see, let's do something like, let's show you this. So here we have a visual camera, 360. It is blocked by the mask behind it, don't worry about that right now, but if you put a block in front of it, you'll say, now it can't see forwards. This is pretty standard across all detection like this. But if you put a glass block in front of it, visual cameras can see through them, which is very handy. Radar cannot do that. Whoops. Let's do this. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? So radar cannot see through this glass block, and IR cameras can also not see through glass blocks, which doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense, honestly, because infrared, you can see that through glass. That's how IR cameras work in real life. That never occurred to me before now, how that's so damn weird. But yeah, so what this means is that cameras actually, for anything you want to be tanky, cameras are actually very, very useful. Glass is not super good at protection, but over here in the decorations tab, portholes are. You'll see that's blocked, now it isn't. That was Control Z, what I just did, by the way. So, if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you'll notice that I use these portholes a lot. These are not great pieces of armor, but it's a crap ton better than nothing, and certainly better than a glass, which has got decent armor, but absolutely lousy health. So, yeah, that's basically detection. What have I missed? Oh yeah, the buoys. So these are things you can stick onto a missile. So let us show you how that works. Here we are going to make a little missile, like so. We're going to have a launcher, and we're going to have a gantry, and we're going to put some ejectors on this. Don't worry, we'll cover this all again when I finally get around to missiles. And we're going to put, let's put a ballast tank on it, and let's put a radar buoy. You gotta take care of your buoys. Your boys are gonna get up to such stuff without a father figure or a farmer figure. That got weird, I do apologize. Anyway, so, you'll notice now that when we go to Weapon Group 1 and try and fire this, no worky. That is because boys need, boys on the missile actually need boys on the AI in order to do anything. So let's stick a radar buoy on this mainframe. And it doesn't matter which AI you stick them onto, so long as there's one, we can fire! Now we have a radar buoy! And as being a radar buoy in the ocean, you don't need to drop them into the... I know buoys in real life that, you know, you need to stick them into the ocean in order to get them to do anything, but, you can have these fly just fine. It works just fine. So yeah, I think that's all the AI stuff. Have I missed anything? Quick, to the menu! Gaston, what have we not ordered off the menu? Nope, that's basically it. So, this particularly is one part of the build menu that seems kind of intimidating. So long as you follow it in order, so you go here, 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 you almost spiral out, skipping over some stuff. So let's break down one of these prefabs, actually. So here we got the mainframe, we've got a whole bunch of GPPP, and that's all it is, actually. That mainframe's just that. Advanced AI. Oh, advanced is it? It's got aim point selection and routine cards and stuff. That's a lot of routine cards. 3 is more than you usually ever need. But yeah, ooh, very good, very nice. And in the Smart Ultimate, this is AI Tetris I normally would never do, but meh. So yeah, what do we got here? We've got lots of GBPP. None of these things have a wireless snooper on them or an inter-vehicle transmitter. This is why I don't like these prefabs. Never use them. Anyway, we haven't blown up a Marauder, and that is simply unacceptable. So I'm going to get rid of all this. And we're going to put... How many berthas can we have on this? Let's just have... I'm just going to put a whole bunch of things here. Are these controlled by AI? They are not. You know what that means? We're going to have to control them via AI. Aha! We can do this all in one local weapon controller. Mwahahaha! Quick! A Marauder this instant! I've gone mad with power! Kaboom! That's kind of AI related, I hope. So anyway, that's the AI build menu in a nutshell. I did kind of skim a lot of it because it's either... A lot of it is either too complicated to, like summarize succinctly, and a lot of it is just the same thing over and over again, but slightly different. Like the detection, for instance. Okay. I'm very tired. I need a cup of tea immediately. This is a golden opportunity for you, too, to go have a cup of tea. Quick, before this Marauder dies. Give the Marauder a cup of tea, too. And thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps. And there's fun perks in it for you, like... at the lowest tier, access to a Patreon-exclusive Discord full of cool people like myself occasionally. At the second highest tier, I'll review your craft for you, and at the highest tier, I'll even build stuff for you. Or draw stuff for you, because I do art. I do an art live stream every week. We just finished drawing the entire dinosaur alphabet. What have you done today? What else you can do is go follow the links in the description or in the pinned comment, assuming I've done that in time, to see all the other channels I do. There's a second gaming channel and a whole bunch of VOD channels, because my goodness, I stream a lot. I stream too much. Somebody stop me streaming. I am open to bribes of money and bread. Anyway, I mean actual bread, not breadboard. Ye gods, don't bribe me with breadboard. Anyway, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. Farewell. The ultimate defense against the Marauder.